And on the line straight away with the first contender of 2026 will be a wild card from here in Italy, but Milan, just up the road, Jacob. It will be Riccardo Tonali, 23 years of age, in a Nissan Silvia S13 V8 turbo, 800 horsepower. Let's see what he's got as he comes off the line. Now we're going to walk and talk you through this as he flicks the car from left to right. Nice initiation, little dab of the handbrake into this long first outside zone. You can see him dropping out of that zone before he picks up into zone 2. Then has to wash the car wide for 3. Now the tricky part that me and Jacob pointed out, outside zone 4, slow the car down but not too much and try and pick up inside zone 5. Back on throttle again for 6. Oh, he goes very wide there outside zone 7. Now 8. This is a very tricky zone. Use the rumble strip, but try not to push yourself away from the edge of the circuit. Full throttle into outside zone 9. Tonali across the line. Very good first benchmark there.
Yeah.
Move back to the line. Michele Landolfi, BMW E36. 2JZ underneath the bonnet, 900 horsepower. A little fist bump to the camera. He's feeling very, very confident.
Yeah, and he's, definitely decorated Pro 2 champion in 23, vice champion in 2025, and a very loud car.
Yeah, certainly is a loud car as he comes off the line. Look for that flick across. And that white line there denoting the start of the scoring zone. Paints the edge of the circuit right to the edge of the track, and that's what the judges were looking for. Picks up that inner zone. Good job so far from Landolfi as he fires down now. This is a tricky part of the circuit, but gets it done nicely. It slows the car down an angle, picks up inner 5, stands on the accelerator, big clutch kick. Oh, and struggles there on the transition. He now uses all of that curbing, but not really come to any help with him as he fires into the final outside zone. A little wobble. Oh, goes very wide. Takes and comes down almost into the gravel. From France this time, it's going to be Anthony Arocchi. BMW E36, 900 horsepower, VQ35 underneath the bonnet. You were very happy with this. You were digging deep. You were trying to get all the info on this car. Looks like it's running well, making 900 horsepower. And he's flying so far. Here's Anthony as he fires through. Looks for outside zone 4. On throttle for a very long time now. Is that going to come to a fruition? It does as he picks up that inside zone. Back out to the edge of the circuit. Flicks the car back across again. Tidy job so far. Can he fulfill all of this zone? He certainly can. Now it's a dangerous part. Yeah, keeping the car on circuit there and not dropping the wheel. Judges saying if you're on the green part of the circuit past the white line, you're losing 1 point.
Yeah.
Now back to the start line to a man that we all know very well here at Drift Masters. It is, of course, Manuel Vacca, a man that competed at Drift Masters for many years, took a step back and decided to now help a lot of the drivers in the paddock. You'll see his name on some of the cars. Decided that, seeing as his hometown, why not throw your hat in the ring and throw down this weekend. Big decel though on initiation as Manuel Vacca now puts the back end of that BMW E36 where it needs to be. Clean line through inside zone 2. Down the hill for outside zone 4, slows the car down nicely now. Needs to pick up the throttle nice and early, drive that car through and into outside zone 6. Looking good so far from Manuel Vacca. Wheel over the edge of the circuit. Pops the wheel up onto the curb and comes out of 8 super early, and that is the tricky part as he goes back through his own smoke for the final outside zone and across the line. Now I must say, this man looking very, very good in practice.
Yeah.
And very confident. Let's see what he can do right now, and all eyes are on him on qualifying. As he lights off the tyres and slams that car through the gears. Already got that car on full tilt. Again, another driver, big handbrake drag through initiation. The car looks dialed though as he sticks it through outside zone 1. A little wobble there, trying to pick up inside zone 2. Pass down the hill was Andreasen now selling that car an angle. Back on throttle nice and early, deep on the inner 5. And once again, the smoke playing havoc here in Italy as Jacob said, blowing across the circuit, puts the wheel on the curb, and you can see what it does to the car though. Fires the car out of that outside zone 8 super early. Into 9, stands on the throttle, left foot brake and across the line.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, on the line, an interesting one. Now, I know you're very intrigued with this car.
I love it.
Lukasz Tasiemski from Poland. We've seen this man before as a wild card at Drift Masters. Driving this weekend an Alfa Romeo Veloce V6 bi-turbo. Very quiet car, but gets the job done. Doing a good job so far as well. This man, a very good line driver, an incredible sim drifter. As Lukasz Tasiemski now gets himself in to inside zone 5. Full throttle as he comes down the hill, flicks that car across the circuit, looks for outside zone 8. Now, can he fulfill it? He certainly can. Stands on the throttle. Very nice line. Keeps it just clean as he looks for the final outside zone. Tasiemski stands on the foot brake and puts it across the line. Be Karim Hany all the way from Egypt. This young man made a big impression on me in the off-season as I headed over to the UAE. to see some drifting out there. The G87 M2, the first one on the grid and off the line. It's Karim Hany, 900 horsepower, 2JZ. Flicks that car from left to right. This car only arrived at the track last night. A big panic to get it here, and him and Benediktas Cirba partnering up for the 2026 season. Looking good so far, though, as Karim Hany, an absolute devil behind the wheel, stands on the accelerator, picks up those inner zones a little deep, though. And starts to get the car set up, flicks it across the circuit, looks for outside zone 8, big drag on the handbrake, that's going to sacrifice some line wall, makes a correction and keeps it in there, though, as Hany fires it back for the final outside zone, almost goes too wide, a little scrappy, but job done. So our next contender has been Konstantyn Schurenko, all the way from Ukraine, teaming up with the Shanahans this year. The Trinity and Shanahan's team teaming up for a season.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's a lot of great minds all put into one place.
There certainly is. The 3 identical cars as he comes off the line. 2JZ power Toyota GT86. Nice initiation for Schurenko as he puts the foot flat to the floor, fulfills all of that first outside zone. Now as he picks up the inner, little wobble for outside zone 3, fires down the hill, good angle, but big speed, and it's going to push him very wide on the inner, and he sacrifices that inner zone as he now works his way back down the hill again, squeezing the accelerator in the Toyota GT86. Now the mistakes start to creep in, and he knows that missing that inner is going to be bleeding points, but nevertheless, fires it and gets it backwards across the line and into the gravel. Yeah, next driver on the line from Turkey. This had Silvia S15 2JZ underneath the bonnet, 1,000 horsepower, making a return for a full season of the Drift Masters Championship. Enver Haskasap stares down the circuit. Our start line marshal, Marcin.
He's back.
He's back. We wouldn't replace him with anybody else, do you know that?
No.
If he said he was retiring, we'd say there's no, you can't retire.
Yeah, we're just going to bring you back.
We're just going to bring you back constantly. So our start line marshal, Marcin, just waiting there for our marshals to get back into their position before we give them the green light. And our traffic light system back in effect again, 2026, plus our laser for our tandem battles. And we go off the line, and the Haskasap. Nice transition, gets that car set up nicely. Looked like he stalled the car up, but no handbrake as he now stands on the accelerator. Very odd line there through inner 2 as he flicks the car down the hill for 4. For brakes, tries to slow the car down. He's going to go wide again. Another driver struggling from 4 to 5, and now starts to unleash his 1,000 horsepower as he flicks that car wildly across the circuit. Back on throttle, comes off of outside zone 8 a little early, looks for the transition, the final zone, slows it down the handbrake, back on throttle and across the line.
Yeah.
There's a Finnish driver, Teemu Asunmaa. BMW M2 M50 turbo, 880 horsepower. Now this man for the first run of practice was looking like he was on rails. Sets that car up lovely for outside zone 1. Look at this full commitment from Asunmaa as he now stands on the throttle. A little adjustment of angle as he comes through 2 and 3. Fires the car down the hill. Big flick, and it's going to go wide. Oh, he makes it. Wow, how did he get that done? As Asunmaa, could he be the man this year that all eyes now start to focus on, because he's been looking deadly in practice. Mistake there though, too much angle, couldn't have the commitment to fulfill all of that zone. Final outside zone coming up and across the line for Teemu Asunmaa. As we go on the line to Harry Kerr, the man from Ireland, a wild card in 2025 now for a full season, as he jumps into his BMW E46 F22 2JZ, 850 horsepower off the line. Harry Kerr here to make a name for himself as he puts that car right to the edge of the circuit. A little dab of the handbrake, sets himself up nicely. Harry Kerr on throttle, super early, collects 2 and 3. Looking good for the transition down the hill. Big handbrake drag though, not what the judges were looking for. As he finds inner 5 though, now starts to work his way back down the hill. Can he clean this one up as Harry Kerr fires it to outside zone 8 on the curb deep, but keeps it absolutely pinned right to the edge of the circuit. Harry Kerr looks for the final outside zone, a little dab of the left foot brake across the line. What a statement from the young Irishman. We go back on the line to a man that redesigned, re-engineered and reworked this A90 Super in the off-season alongside some good friends of his. It's going to be Dave Egan, the man that used to sit alongside me. Well, he now sits down there on circuit in his carbon Kevlar Supra. Big, heavy breathing there from Egan. Point to prove this season. Rough start last year and a rough championship for Dave Egan, but what can he do? everything reset to 0 as he clicks through the gears, fires that super across the circuit, outside zone 1 collected so far, now starts to dial on the angle as he works his way in to inner 2. Very nice line from Dave Egan as he puts it down the hill for 4, slows the car. Can he pick up the inner? He's going to put it on a big angle, stands on it, makes it work, but he almost triangulates outside zone 5. Gets those nerves shaken off, he puts it to outside zone 8, comes out super early, stands on the throttle, one last zone left to go for Egan as he puts it at an angle, checks up and across the line. Egan as we go back on the line, George Christoforou from Cyprus, BMW 1 Series back once again, 1100 horsepower, Jacob.
He's got the power to put down, that's for sure.
He certainly has. Splits the line, wheels off the line. As George Christoforou now fires his car into initiation. Off the handbrake nice and early. Now gets that car settled for outside zone 1, looking good. Very nice line through 2, but sacrifices 3 as he fires down the hill. Oh, wheel on the edge of the grass now. Oh, and a big bit of understeer, has to really collect the car again in inner 5. As George Christoforou flicks the car across, up onto the curb, and once again the curb not playing ball, pushes him out of outside zone 8, and it's starting to get a little scrappy for George Christoforou as he's going to fall out of 9 and across the line. For sure, as we go back on the line to a new wild card, but a man that is not unfamiliar in drifting is, of course, the one and only Simen Olsen, teaming up with the Dean M Sport guys this year. James Dean, driving James Dean's Nissan Silvia S14.9 2JZ, 1,130 horsepower. This should be enough to make his way around the circuit. Oh, and a little wander on outside zone 1 as Simen Olsen now collects himself. A little shallow on inner 2, but gets the job done for 3. Down the hill, scrubs the speed, dials on the angle. Simen Olsen collects inner 5, stands on the accelerator and puts all that power towards the tarmac as Simen Olsen looks for outside zone 8. A big clutch kick just about keeps a wheel into it as he looks for the final outside zone. Simen Olsen wheeling that car, left foot brake locked across the line. Now, a surprise this weekend was this man, Yves Meyer from Switzerland. Didn't decide to jump into his Toyota Supra A90, decided to bring a brand new car, GR Yaris 2JZ, 930 horsepower. Looked like he was struggling with the car in practice. Now, can he get it to work flawlessly in qualifying? Was into outside zone 1, stands on the accelerator. So strange to see this car on circuit, but looks at home, but misses inner 2. As Yves Meyer fires down the hill, carrying a lot of speed. He's going to go very wide, catches a whole bunch of understeer, almost drops it onto the grass. As Yves Meyer now going to have to really work to get himself back on that perfect qualifying line. Meyer fires it in to outside zone 8, dials on the angle, it's big angle, he's almost over-rotated, he has! Oh. Well, as we get our track cleared up, we go back on the start line to this man, Nasser Alharbali. Did make a debut in Drift Masters in 2024. Didn't have a very good season. He's back now, 2026, and a brand new chassis. Is a supercharged V8 Nissan 400Z as he fires that car in. Nasser Alharbali, a point to prove this year. Did incredible things in the Polish Championship. And now said he feels like he's ready for more European drifting. Wow, incredible speed down the hill. Can he keep a hold of it? Can he collect it? He certainly can. Just drops that wheel in to inner zone 5 as he opens up the throttle, comes down the hill, and Nasser Alharbali looking way more comfortable than he was in practice. This is very good from Nasser Alharbali, the man from El Salvador, residing in Dubai, fires it across the line. A job done. Get back on the line, though, to another carbon Kevlar car. It is, of course, the one and only Nikolass Bertans from Latvia. The HGK Eurofighter sits on the line. It says it's got a big boy V8 underneath the bonnet, which takes 1,100 horsepower. Well, let's see if he can put all of that into practice as he flicks the car from left to right. Again, another car with huge pedigree under its belt. As Bertans collects inside zone 2. Looking good, this young man, really doing some good things in drifting in Latvia. Oh, wow, what a line through inside zone 5. Opens up the throttle super early. Nikolass Bertans not messing around here in Italy. Oh, a dab of the handbrake halfway through the zone, though. The judges won't like that. It was a mistake and a correction as he stands on the foot brake and sacrifices sum of 9. Right, back on the line. Clint Van Oort all the way from the Netherlands. And Nissan 206 2JZ S14, 900 horsepower. Clint Van Oort doing a lot of driving in the off-season in the Middle East. Said he feels a little bit more comfortable this season now. Qualifying has always been a demon of Clint Van Oort's. What can he do? Very nice initiation for Clint Van Oort. Fulfills all of outside zone 1, collects 2 beautifully. Van Oort looked like he's on a flyer right now. Can he keep it? Full carbon collects as he comes down the hill. He always grabs a whole load of understeer, stands on the throttle, triangulates it, but makes it work. As Van Oort now looks for 7 and 8 as he comes down the hill. Makes it work as he stays in 8 just about towards the end of the zone. Now left foot brake locked as he puts it into outside zone 9 and across the line. Diogo Correia back from Portugal, back for another season of Drift Masters. Switched up the front end on this car now, an E92, but a later front end on the car. Same body underneath though, as Diogo Correia still running that Mercedes-Benz turbocharged engine underneath the bonnet. As Correia looking good so far as he fires down the hill. Big left foot brake lock up. Will that control the car? It certainly does. Navigates his way around that inner zone. Now as he fires down the hill, looks for outside zone 8, puts the car where it needs to be and falls out instantly. And that outside zone 8 really catching a lot of these drivers out as he gets into 9 and falls out and back in again and across the line. Dawid Sposob back once again from Poland. It's at Sylvia S15 2JZ 920 horsepower off the line. Sposob looking comfortable in practice. Or flicks up a little dirt as he goes very wide on outside zone 1 but keeps it under control. Brings a nose in for inside zone 2, and now Sposob looks like he's got this car dialed and under control as he comes down for inner 5 and has a beautiful line for Sposob. Nice commitment on the throttle nice and early. Flicks the car across the circuit. Sposob here out for business, up onto the curb, fulfills all of outside zone 8. This is really nice for Dawid Sposob as he puts the car deep into outside zone 9 and across the line, the dark horse from Poland.
Wow.
2026 Benediktas Cirba from Lithuania unveiled this incredible BMW G42 2JZ 900 horsepower. This is a beautiful car, and I'm telling you now, Cirba has got this car working 110% as he puts that car to the edge of the circuit for outside zone 1. Looking cool, calm and collected inside the car as Cirba, those signature blue and red headlights, comes down the hill for outside zone 4. Very nice line on the throttle, super early for Cirba. This man's such an incredible line driver and always been the bridesmaid, never the bride here at Drift Masters. He flicks that car to angle. Wow, Cirba just about holds on to it, and everybody here took a step back from the edge of the circuit as Cirba throws a masterclass down. In a Toyota GR86, it is Kevin Piskolty from Hungary, 2JZ this year. New car, new engine, what can he do here at Drift Masters in 2026? Switched up the platform. Is it more competitive for Piskolty, or will it take him a while to get into it? It looks like he's already settled in this chassis as Piskolty in this TFA Motorsport GR86 looks absolutely incredible. The boot lid just popping open, or takes it very tight to inner 5, but makes it work. As Piskolty stands on the accelerator down the hill, flicks the car into 8, looking very comfortable. Up on the curb, keeps full throttle now as Piskolty looks for the final outside zone, fulfills it, drops out of it a little early and across the line. The wind, well, Espen Rohde is back once again from Norway. BMW E46 with one of these facelift body kits, should we call it?
I like that, facelift.
1050 turbo underneath the bonnet, 1000 horsepower, same platform, different look. Espen Rohde, the Norwegian youngster, fires that car into outside zone 1, having a lot of trouble with this car, and big mistake already, drops out of outside zone 1 super early. Collects 2 and 3, but maybe the simpler ones on the circuit to get, especially 4 as he fires in. You can see a lot of corrections on the steering wheel for Espen Rohde. He stands on the throttle, unleashing that power, flicks the car. It doesn't look like it's easy to drive, super wide on the rumble strips, but makes outside zone 8 work. Yeah, puts the car wide once again for outside zone 9 across the line, but mistakes there for Espen Rohde. Big thumbs up there from Jason Banet, the man from France, from Lyon. Subaru BRZ 2JZ, 950 horsepower, seems to be the staple, around 1000 horsepower this season. Everyone up in their power game. Nice initiation from Banet on the throttle, nice and early. Rear wheel right to the white line as he now starts to creep down the circuit. A little wobble there for outside zone 3. Flicks that car super early. Scrubs a lot of speed as and shuts it down. Parks it on the grass. Go back on the line. Jakub Krol from Poland, from Lodz. Off the line. 2JZ, 920 horsepower. New livery for Jakub Krol. Getting rid of that exposed carbon Kevlar for 2026. Looking good in practice. Started to mix it up a little bit and try some different things, throwing that car around, and going to go for it again here. Throws that car very wide for outside zone 5. Does manage to pick it up, but it's not clean. That car crab walks across the circuit for outside zone 7. Flicks it very wide for 8. Stands on the accelerator as Jakub Krol, the man, the top qualifying at the final round in Poland in 2025, is across the line and job done. That's for sure. Duane Mckeever, the Northern Smoke Machine, sits on the line. Now, here's a Nissan 180SX. Doesn't have an RB26 in it though. This car, 2JZ, this car he'll be piloting for 2 rounds of the championship until his car is back from Mondello Park at round 3. Mckeever though fires it in right to the edge of the circuit, stands on the accelerator, will be very familiar with the chassis. Will just be the power plant he gets used to, but 1,000 horsepower will surely get him around the circuit. Mckeever using that handbrake like ABS for outside zone 4, stands on the accelerator 9. Very nice line from Mckeever as he puts the car right to the edge of the circuit, flicks it up onto the curb, big down with the handbrake, sets himself up nicely, keeps it under control, looks for the final outside zone as Mckeever stands on the throttle, fulfills all of the final outside zone and across the line. Now back on the line, the Finnish driver, BMW E92 2JZ, 900 horsepower. And gives a thumbs up to our start line Marshall Martin, presses the button for the anti-lag as he comes off the line. Poytalaakso, a veteran in Finnish drifting. Gets that car set up nicely for the first outside zone. A little small correction, stands on the foot brake and the accelerator, gets that car round outside zone 1, now down the hill as he dabs the foot brake ever so slightly once again. Nice line through 4, but very deep on inner 5, takes the cones down. Judges won't like that. It'll be the front wheel that needs to go through that box. Marks on the circuit. It's Poytalaakso now back once again across the circuit, looks for that final outside zone on the foot brake, across the line. Very tidy job for Poytalaakso. And in the off-season, Jakub taken to making some viral videos, Jacob.
Yeah.
He said, I'm not done with drifting around car parks and crazy stuff like that. This man, renowned for multiple different disciplines in motorsport, but yet to find real fortune in the Drift Masters Championship as Przygonski makes his way around the first 2 zones. Good job, a little straight, and as he comes down, waits for a long time to get on throttle, but makes it work as now Jakub Przygonski stands on the accelerator, fires it across the circuit, looks back for outside zone 8 on the throttle. Very nice line for outside zone 8, flicks the car for the final outside zone as Przygonski slows the car down, opens up the throttle and across the line. But this man might just do that. Juha Rintanen steps up to the plate from Finland, another Toyota GR86 2JZ. 1,003 horsepower, and the three matters. It comes off the line. This incredible looking GR86 set to angle, set to that first outside zone. As Juha Rintanen opens up the throttle, stands on the accelerator, looking to connect the dots as he comes firing down the hill. Big decel, slows that car down nicely. Now opens up the throttle once again, very deep on inner 5, but makes it work as Juha Rintanen fires it from left to right, looks for outside zone 8, fulfills all of it. As Rintanen on an absolute ripper right now, puts it into the final outside zone, stands on the accelerator, locks up the front wheel and across the line. We're back on the line. Jarko Jylha from Finland now steps up to the mark. This young man, this incredible Toyota Chaser, JZX 100 2JZ 900 horsepower. The Finnish driver, a wild card 2 years ago, now a full-time resident here at Drift Masters. Fires that car in. Very nice line for outside zone 1. This guy, very technical driving. A lot of these Finnish drivers, all about the line, all about the style as well, as he puts that car right to the edge of the track, slows it down on throttle nice and early, drives it through outside, inside turn 5. Back on the throttle now, Jarko Jylha looks to set this car up perfectly. Big flick as he gets into outside zone 8. This is nice from Jarko Jylha, 1 outside zone left to go. Transitions that car, stands on the foot brake, lets it rotate and across the line. Back on the line for a man, for me, that was looking very, very good in practice is this man, Mika Keskikorpi. He said, I didn't touch the car in the off-season. We built a lorry instead, so we're comfortable at the track. He said, I just want to have somewhere nice to sleep, somewhere nice to relax in between practice and qualifying. And man, has it shown, because he's been looking rock steady so far in practice today. Look at this from Mika Keskikorpi, the man from Finland, BMW F22. S58 underneath the bonnet, 1,000 horsepower as he absolutely fires it into outside zone 4, stands on the throttle nice and early. What a beautiful line from Mika Keskikorpi as he opens up the throttle down the hill now, so controlled as he puts it to outside zone 8, stands on it, comes out a little early now as Mika Keskikorpi goes for the final outside zone, doesn't lock up the foot brake, does right in the middle and across the line. else where we go back on the line. Marko Zakouril from the Czech Republic sits on the line now. BMW F22 M2, but with a Volkswagen engine underneath the bonnet. The 2-litre 4-cylinder making 700 horsepower. Zakouril do another man that hasn't changed a lot, just back in the hot seat, ready to rock and roll for 2026 as he opens up the throttle. It looks absolutely dialed on outside zone 1. This is very nice line for Marko Zakouril as he puts the car to angle for outside zone 4. A nice smooth transition, stands on the accelerator, picks up the inner zone, looks wide for the edge of the circuit. A little wobble there as he upshifts a gear, comes firing down the hill. Marko Zakouril puts the car right to the edge of the track. Zakouril is absolutely flying through the circuit here. In Italy as he puts it across the line. We go back on the line to a man that was hoping that 2025 would be the year that he got a podium. Will 2026 be the year he gets a podium? Conor Falvey from Ireland in that Nissan Silvia S15 2JZ. Upgraded the engine this year, 1,050 horsepower. What could he do as he puts that car right to the edge of the circuit? New livery on the side, representing Drift Games. Conor Falvey opens up the throttle, looks very controlled. A little wobble there coming down into free though. Maybe some nerves creeping in for Conor Falvey now. A lot of expectation, I think, put on himself as he done 1 million hours on the simulator of this circuit, preparing for round 1 as he fires the car back and once again. Look at this big clutch kick. As Falvey opens up the circuit, looks for the final outside zone, into it, and across the line for Conor Falvey. To go back to the line, Oliver Randalou from Estonia, BMW E46 M50 Turbo, 900 horsepower. This man looking for some redemption after a pretty rough season last year. Stands on the accelerator, opens up the throttle, looking very, very good. A little wobble there into outside zone 3. Oh, big foot brake lockup. Opens up the throttle early, but drives through inside zone 5. Looking confident as Oliver Randalou as he comes firing down the hill. A strange line there outside zone 7 and out of 8 super early as the drone doesn't miss a thing. Randalou fires it into the final outside zone and across the line. Again, a man that is fallen down the order is your 2025 Drift Masters champion, Lauri Heinonen, back in the Dodge V8 Pro-charged Nissan Silvia 180SX, flicks that car to angle beautifully as Heinonen opens up the throttle. That unmissable sound once again bellows around the circuit here in Vallelunga, and the sound that we've all been waiting to hear in 2026 is back on the grid as Lauri Heinonen opens the throttle, waits to flick that car across the circuit, sets it up lovely for outside zone 8, opens the throttle perfectly. Good timing from Heinonen as he puts it to the edge of the circuit for outside zone 9. It's beautiful as always from Lauri Heinonen. Confident. This man has won every event in the world. He's won every championship in his own mind. It's Kevin Passer, from Estonia in his BMW G87 M50 Turbo, 1,000 horsepower, sets it up lovely for outside zone 1 as Passer, a little wobble as he collects inside zone 2 and outside zone 3, fires that car down the hill with incredible speed. Look at him on the throttle early, almost backwards into inner 5, and now absolutely smokes out the circuit as he comes down for outside zone 8, dabs the curb and it pushes him away though early of outside zone 8. Final outside zone as he locks the foot brake across the line. Well, here we go, back on the line to a man that I've been eager to see in qualifying, back for a full season of Drift Masters. It is, of course, James the Machine Dean, the man that has won it all so far. What can he do in this Ford Mustang Spec 5 DM?
There he is.
1,100 horsepower, reworked, re-engineered, on the handbrake though, through that starter scoring zone. Judges will be keeping a keen eye on that as Dean now opens up the throttle. That V8 screams as he comes down the hill. That car looking very, very balanced. A little left foot brake as he works his way through outside zone 4, but look at the line through 5 as Dean looks absolutely settled in this car, flicks it across the circuit. Big aggression from James Dean up to the curb, fulfills all of outside zone 8, goes a little wide but keeps a hold of it as Dean now puts it to the edge of the circuit, a dab of the foot brake and across the line for James Dean. As you go back on the line to a man in a car that looks the same as it did in 2025, but it's a brand new build. It is, of course, the surgeon for Falko Poliński from Poland. Nissan Silvia 206 S14, 900 horsepower. What could Poliński do? This man on the podium a few times in 2025 would love to get himself set up lovely for a early championship fight as he works his way around the first 3 outside zones. first two outside zones and first inside one as he now works his way around that tight, precarious part of the circuit, doing a good job so far as Paweł Korpelinski flicks the car in to outside zone 8. Very committed as Korpelinski puts it right to the edge of the circuit, and it's a very clean line for Korpelinski as he gets into 9 and across the line.
Yeah.
Well, let's have a word with Jack Shanahan before he leaves the line for his first qualifying run. Today, in practice, the alternator belt, the auxiliary belt on the engine failed, went into the cam belt, destroyed the cylinder head, and in 3 hours, the team changed the cylinder head, managed to get him back out for 2 runs of practice, and now Shanahan takes on qualifying as Jack Shanahan puts that car to angle, a little wobbly on outside zone 1 on the initiation, but gets it dialed now. The car looks absolutely settled, gripped up and turned up to 100 as Shanahan puts in an absolutely incredible lead line through inside zone 5, stands on the accelerator, comes down the hill, flicks the car to outside zone 8 and fulfills it completely. Shanahan keeps that rear wheel on the edge of the circuit, fires it into the final outside zone and across the line for Jack Shanahan. About it, we go back on the line to this man. He finished second in the championship in 2025. Piotr Wiańczek sits on the line from Poland. Toyota Supra A90 2JZ 1000 horsepower. This car looking absolutely incredible in practice, and Peter looking dialed as he rotates that car perfectly. Look at this from Wiańczek as he puts it right to the edge of the track. The headlights shining as he goes deep on inner zone 2, and the transition to 4 is absolutely textbook. On the throttle nice and early as Wiańczek now powers through inner 5, opens up the throttle, looks down the hill as he knows these 2 parts of the circuit are treacherous, but he takes no regard as he fires the car into outside zone 8. Wiańczek looks for the final outside zone, dabs the foot brake, puts it across the line. Wiańczek is back.
Yeah. Here we go.
There's a man with a target on his back and he sits on the line right now. It's not all been sweet for the Shanahans, for both of them. Not only did Jack have problems, Conor broke the gearbox in the car earlier in practice. They swapped it out for a spare and he's off the line in the Toyota GT86 2JZ. Your 2025 champion leaves off for his first qualifying run of the year, and it's good so far as Shanahan puts that car right to the edge of the circuit, looks for a good transition back on the handbrake for a long time again, and now opens up the throttle for inner zone 5. Shanahan looking cool, calm and collected as he fires that car for outside zone 6, 7 and puts it to 8. Absolutely textbook from Shanahan as he stands on the accelerator. 1 more zone to go as Shanahan clutch kicks that GT86 across the line.
Wow.
We're back on the line though. Riccardo Tonali from Italy, from Milan, a 63.5, find himself at the moment in 36th place. The cut-off as it sits is 72.2, so keep an eye on those scores. They will be coming up on your screen as Tonali fires in this turbo V8 180SX, puts that car in to outside zone 1, fulfills it lovely, now picks up 2, looks for 3, shallows up the angle but makes it work as he comes down the hill, big speed, flicks up some dust, catches a bunch of understeer.
All the understeer.
Stands on the throttle, completely misses in a 5. Now has to try and rebuild it as he puts the wheel over. Big commitment into 8, but it doesn't pay off for Tonali. He stands on the accelerator looking for that final outside zone, makes it happen. It's across the line for Tonali, but I'm not sure if it's going to be an improvement. A 61.5 on the board for Michele Landolfi. At the moment sits in 38th position as the anti-lag fires and his BMW E36 2JZ 900 horsepower slams through the gears. Dabs to the handbrake for initiation, very straight line, not what the judges are looking for, but nevertheless, it fills all of outside zone 1. Now opens up the throttle, looking for 2 and 3, fires down the hill. It's a very shallow transition for Landolfi. Gets on the throttle for 5, now starts to work his way, connecting the dots down the hill to tricky outside zone 8 as he flicks it. Will he keep the commitment? Stands on the accelerator and he does make it work as he gets a tire fire erupts from the back of that BMW. Still on fire now as he fulfills all and part of outside zone 9 across the line. Well, Weiser gets slammed shut, car slams into gear. And Rocci leaves the line for his second qualifying run, maybe just back there, settling the nerves. Sets that car up, stands on the accelerator, lets the car float out, goes a little wide, starts to kick up the gravel. He's going to miss inside zone 2. Starts to rework it now, back on that qualifying line as he flies down the hill. The clutch kick opens up the throttle, it's scrappy through inside zone 5 as well. Flicks the car across, looks for outside zone 8 as Rocci stands on the accelerator and it's scrappy as it now doesn't really connect the dots nicely. Big clutch kick halfway through outside zone 9 and across the line. 30th at the moment.
30th,
now, yeah, so once we've done Manuel Vacca, that now moves Manuel Vacca to the drop zone. This M50 Turbo, or S54 Turbo BMW E36 gets himself into that first outside zone, pedaling that car though around that first outside zone, maybe loosen the car up a touch as he fires down the hill. Gets himself into 4, very wide, very, very wide. He's going to miss inside zone 5, and that's going to be huge points deducted as he couldn't get that car slowed down enough. And I do believe he may have took some grip out of this car to make it a little easier to drive. It looks tough there on outside zone 8. Final outside zone coming up for Manuel Vacca as he stands on the accelerator across the line. We go on the line. Mads Andreasen now from Denmark gets the opportunity to try and gain some more points. The 72.5 is the cut-off for qualifying. 22 BMW E92 M3 Eurofighter V8 Turbo underneath the bonnet with initiation, but he's very shallow on outside zone 1. Just then starts to creep the rear wheel higher up on 1 as he opens up the throttle, dials on a little bit more angle outside zone 3. Big flick across the circuit, but huge handbrake drag. Stands on the throttle, dab on the foot brake as well to make sure he collects inside zone 5. As Mads Andreasen now down the hill, flicks the car back across the track once again, fulfills all of outside zone 8. Pilots his way across, looks for the final outside zone. Andreasen on the throttle, just about tickling a wheel in the zone and across the line. We go back on the line to Lukasz Tasiemski from Poland, an 88.5. Well, he's currently sitting in 14th place, and that seems like a good place to be. As we say, these guys are all going to start improving now as he comes off the line in this Alfa Romeo Volce V6 bi-turbo. 620 horsepower. I mean, it doesn't sound like it should do the job, but it certainly does, and it looks like it's a very nice car for line driving. So he lets it wander out for outside zone 3, down the hill, big handbrake drag, stands on it nice and early. As Lukasz Tasiemski now looks to thread the needle down this narrow part of circuit, fulfills all of outside zone 8. Looks for that final transition back for 9. Got this track absolutely dialed as a line driver, it just lacks that little bit of impact. Right, Karim Hany right now sits 33rd in qualifying. This is do or die for this man. The rookie year for Karim Hany here at Drift Masters, the man from Egypt. This BMW G87 M2 2JZ. 900 horsepower being unleashed right now on circuit. Left foot brake lock-up in outside zone 1, trying to keep the back end where it needs to be as he now gets himself in to outside zone 3. There's some mistakes creeping in already for Karim Hany as he dials on the angle. Big steering corrections as he comes through inside zone 5. Upper gear he goes, and a big clutch kick as Karim Hany looks for outside zone 8. Gets out of it a little early though. Stands on the throttle, looks for 9. Big transition back. Oh, whoa. And he wobbles massively across the line. As we go back on the line to Konstantyn Schurenko, scored a 0 on the first qualifying run. So work to be done here as he slams the visor closed, puts the car into gear, teaming up with the Shanahans this year, Trinity Racing and the Shanahans teaming up for 2026. Big stall up on initiation, but sets himself nicely for outside zone 1, now starts to pick up the pace. As he works his way down the hill in to outside zone 4. Big stall up there as he works his way around for outside zone 5 and makes it work. As Schurenko now fires into outside zone 8, stands on the accelerator, comes out of it a little early. And unfortunately now can't be coming out of these zones early, especially with the scores creeping in as they are, and wheel tickling the line. 6, we go back on the line. Enver Haskasap, another driver who needs to improve drastically, at 64.7. Ziani Lag bangs from the 2JZ, 1,000 horsepower. Nissan Silvia S15 off the line, smoking the tyres already. A big clutch kick for Enver Haskasap. Little dab of the handbrake, shallows up the angle, but gets himself in to outside zone 1. A dab of the foot brake as well. Very odd line. Oh, and I'm not sure if that car's going to react. And it looks like he has problems. So does it get it working? It does now. Gets it back up and going, but that car doesn't look like it wants to work. Big clutch kick again in outside zone 8. This is very scrappy from Enver Haskasap, and looks like the car fighting the driver this time around. Right, this man kind of rocked us because in practice he was looking absolutely unbelievable. 28th at the moment. Teemu Asunmaa from Finland comes off the line. BMW M2 M50 Turbo, 880 horsepower. Big flick across the circuit. Nice line now into outside zone 1 as Asunmaa stands on the throttle. Looks to connect the dots and doing a good job so far. Not too deep though on outside zone 3, but gets himself into 4. Big moment of understeer. Does collect the car though. We cannot see him through his own tyre smoke as he fires down through 7 into 8. Stands on the accelerator. He's going to drop out early once again as Asunmaa now puts the foot flat to the floor. Looks for outside zone 9 and gets it across the line. Improve. A man that really rocked the boat in qualifying was this young man, Harry Kerr, 90.2 on his first qualifying run. This BMW E46/F22 hybrid comes off the line of 2JZ, 850 horsepower, flicks that car to angle, and Harry Kerr on the throttle nice and early. Big angle for outside zone 1, absolutely ringing the rev limiter as he finds all of the zone so far. Big angle, drops a wheel into the dust. Big clutch kick as he tries to get that car back up into boost, back on the throttle, connecting the dots. This is very clean from Harry Kerr as he fulfills almost all of outside zone 8, stands on it, flicks the car across the track with aggression as he fulfills outside zone 9. Job done. The judges now, man that does need to improve drastically is Dave Egan. He puts 2 hands up to the camera. He says he's praying to God that he can get himself into the show. The tyre spin on the back of the Drift Games A90 Super as he comes through the gears. He flicks the car from left to right on the handbrake, sets himself up nicely for outside zone 1. This is a lot cleaner from Dave Egan. Dials on a little bit more angle to connect outside inside zone 2 and outside zone 3 as he fires down. Good setup. This is better from Egan as he opens up the throttle. He collects a cone though. The judges won't like how deep he was in a 5 as he flicks it to outside zone 8, sets himself up nicely, but he drops out a little early. Egan on the throttle looks for the final outside zone on 9, left foot brake locked up, and it's job done for Dave Egan. On the line, George Christoforou, a 75.7, the man from Cyprus, BMW 1 Series S50 Turbo at 1100 horsepower. Pops the anti-lag, slams the car into gear and off the line for his second qualifying run here at Drift Masters 2026. Good initiation, nice line into outside zone 1, now starts to work the angle and you can see him just turning the wick, turning the angle to navigate himself through inner 2 and out 3, but he's gone super wide. He is absolutely blown through outside zone 5 and now has to really start to connect the dots. This needs to be impeccable for the rest of the run as George Christoforou does a good job on outside zone 8, the very difficult part of the circuit. Stands on the throttle, drops out of 9 a little early and it's across the line. Heating up, Simen Olsen on the line. Now this, I didn't expect this. 23rd place for Olsen at the moment at 82.5. He's going to want to climb up the order. Made a big impact with everyone here at Drift Masters at round 3 last year in Ireland. Looking good so far though on outside zone 1. Olsen would have been back, reviewed the footage, looked to clean up his line as he does a very nice job now in outside zone 4. Oh, dials on big angle but makes it work. That was beautiful from Simen Olsen. We definitely like that as he fires down the hill, but will the judges like it as he gets himself into outside zone 8? Did he fulfill it all as he looks for the final outside zone? Good transition back as Olsen stands on the throttle across the line. Stuff back on the line, Yves Meyer a 0 in this incredible Toyota GR Yaris 2JZ, 930 horsepower. The man from Switzerland will be looking to get a score on the board as he absolutely fires off the tyres off the line, flicks that car into initiation, very shallow angle as he now starts to dial it on around outside zone 1, through inner 2, shallows up a little bit more, now flicks the car to angle. This is where we went wrong last time. Can he keep a hold of it? He certainly can as he stands on the accelerator. Yves Meyer working his way through, flicks it to outside zone 7, puts it into 8, and this looks absolutely controlled for Yves Meyer right now. Can he prove everybody wrong and bring a brand new chassis and get himself into the show straight away? We go back on the line. So Nasser Alharbali comes off the line in this Nissan 400Z V8 supercharged all the way from El Salvador, now residing in Dubai. As he opens up the throttle, Nasser Alharbali are looking good. It's the car where it needs to be for outside zone 3. Fires down the hill. Big decel, sets the car up on the throttle. Pedals the car though, almost loses some angle. Really has to get back into it. As Nasser Alharbali now struggles to fire that car where it needed to be. Very nice line though in outside zone 8. Looks for the final outside zone. Harbali dials on the angle, on the foot brake and across the line. Go back on the line to Nikolass Bertans, who is one step ahead of him with an 86.5. Nikolass Bertans from Latvia in the H2K Eurofire V8, 1100 horsepower, screams off the line. This man has been upsetting Drift Masters Championships for many years now as a wildcard driver. This year said that he wanted to compete in a full championship as he fires through very wide on outside zone 3. Look at the pace as he comes down the hill, dabbing the handbrake, setting that car up. This is incredible for Bertans right now as he's looking to rock the top end of the championship as he fires through left to right into outside zone 8, fulfills the whole zone right to the edge of the circuit, back across for the final outside zone. The drone keeper can't even keep up.
I checked out the engine bay today and I'm like, it looks military grade.
Yeah.
With all the bolts, the biggest intake I've ever seen in my life. A throttle body you can put your head into, and they just want to make as much horsepower as they possibly can. And man, this car is quick. It's just so incredibly fast. It's a great job getting that car floated out through 4, back on throttle, and then I don't know if his foot left the gas the rest of the run. He throttles through so many sections of this track. And even through 8, yeah. I don't think he lifted. No, I don't think he. I think he made a slight adjustment to speed to make sure he wasn't going to fall off the circuit. But man, what a drive from Nikolass Bertans, the young Latvian, 21 years of age, and as I say, you know, been rocking up as a wild card for many years at the Riga event that we all know and love so much, and this season said, no, I'm going to come back and I want to do a full year. And 88 drops. As we go back to Clint Van Oort, who is currently 31st, so bordering on the drop zone, and this man would love nothing more than to climb up the order. A big change up for 2026. As Clint Van Oort off the line, all the way from the Netherlands. Big handbrake drag, sets himself up though, dials on the angle, turns up the wick as Clint Van Oort now looks for that inner zone deeper than anyone else at inner 2 and wide on outer 3. This is looking like a very nice line for Clint Van Oort. Can he keep hold of it? He can. Almost a correction, but stands on the accelerator and makes it work as Clint Van Oort now starts to feel the confidence and the trust in the car as he opens up the throttle. Oh, drops out of outside zone 8 a little early. Looks for the final outside zone on the foot brake. Clint Van Oort, job done across the line. Diogo Correia, 78.5. He now moves down to 30th position and flirting with the drop zone as a young Portuguese driver in this BMW 3 Series with a Mercedes engine. Comes off the line, 900 horsepower, rips through the gears as Diogo Correia has all of Portugal supporting him. Puts that car right to the edge of the circuit. Correia looking steady, very good line driver is Diogo Correia. Just lacking some of that impact sometimes, but definitely got the impact here if he opens up the throttle early, and he does. Diogo Correia, absolutely beautiful from inner 5 as he now wanders across the circuit to 7, flicks that car back. It looks absolutely dialed, but another driver falling out of outside zone 8 a little early. Correia into 9, stands on the accelerator and the foot brake and brings it home. As we go back on the line to Dawid Sposob, who we mentioned earlier, Jacob, looked like this was comfortable to drive. It looked fluid. What can he do right now? He's currently sitting 21st in our top 32, so looks like he's safe at the moment, but we'd love nothing more than to jump up the order as the Polish driver puts that car to the edge of the circuit. 2JZ-powered Nissan Silvia S15, works his way around inside zone 2 and out of 3. Down the hill, can he now get on the throttle nice and early? I think these guys have got it worked out, Jacob. This now becoming rinse and repeat for a lot of these guys as Sposob really starts to apply the pressure, fires the car in to outside zone 8, left foot brake locked, but he puts the car where it needs to be. Final outside zone coming from Dawid Sposob as he puts the car right to the edge of the circuit and across the line. It's incredible. Drift Masters, we go back on the line to Benediktas Cirba in this incredible BMW G42, 2JZ, 900 horsepower. Mr. Cool, calm and collected as always, the visor closed, no looking at the camera. Spins the wheels and off the line goes Benediktas Cirba. There's a 90 on the first qualifying run. What can he do? An 85, sorry, on the first qualifying run. What can he do right now as he works his way around, dab of the foot brake, puts that car across the circuit. Oh, drops a wheel onto the grass, but makes it work somehow. As Cirba now fires down, there's a big mistake for Cirba coming in to inner 5. Once again, drops the wheel over the edge of the circuit. I think this was a do-or-die run for Cirba. He's out of outside zone 9 across the line. back down the order to 29th position to this man, Kevin Piskolty at 79.2 on his first qualifying run. As he comes off the line, brand new build, a 2JZ Toyota GR86 for 2026. As he gets himself set up lovely for this first outside zone, stands on the accelerator, puts the car to the edge of the circuit as Kevin Piskolty fires through, big handbrake drag to outside zone 4, but makes it work through 5. Gets on the throttle very late though, as Piskolty now threads the needle, looks for outside zone 8, puts it right to the edge of the circuit, uses the curb, but it doesn't help him out at the end of the run, fires it into the final outside zone, and it looks like he's just about got a wheel in that final zone. As we go back on the line to a man that's outside of our top 32, Espen Rohde, a 62, currently sits in 40th place. He would love to get himself in the show for tomorrow, the young Norwegian. BMW E46 with a facelift body kit, 1,000 horsepower. Looks like a nicer initiation this time for Espen Rohde. Puts the car right to the edge of the track. This is a lot cleaner for Espen Rohde. Looks like he's going to play it safe here. Nothing too drastic going on. Just trying to get a good score on the board for Espen Rohde as he gets the job done through 4 and 5. It's actually a really, really nice line for Espen Rohde as he keeps that car between the white lines. Very technical for Espen Rohde at the moment. Big dab at the handbrake. Feels all of outside zone 8 though, as he now navigates his way round to the final outside zone. It's fulfilled and across the line for Espen Rohde. Jason Benet, the man who sits on a 0. 41st position, looks pumped now. This young man last year was absolutely phenomenal. We loved his driving style and what he brought to the championship, but now needs to make it all happen as he flicks in this Subaru BRZ 2JZ right to the edge of the circuit, stands on the throttle, dials it in, turns up the angle a little bit more as he fires through the circuit. Big handbrake drag into outside zone 4. Can he get on throttle nice and early? He can. A big clutch kick as Jason Benet now looks to transition that car from 7 to 8, dials it in, all of outside zone 8 fulfilled. And this is a lot nicer from Jason Benet, the man we've all come to know and love. Final outside zone fulfilled for Benet. Well, so that is it. Our top 32 is set. Only now can positions be changed as Jakub Krol, who is in 22nd position, would love to move himself up the order. A brand new livery on the same old car, but Jakub Krol, that impeccable lead line as he locks the foot brake through outside zone 1, now starts to look a little bit more cool, calm and collected as he fires down to outside zone 4 on the throttle nice and early from Jakub Krol. And once again another driver that's got that inner zone 5 absolutely worked out as Jakub Krol flicks it to outside zone 8. It's incredible. Can he fulfill it? He can. He just about tickles the white line as he gets across the circuit to the final outside zone. Jakub Krol fulfills it and it's job done for the Polishman.
I think so.
Duane Mckeever, the Northern Smoke Machine, a 90 on his first qualifying run, but now sits in 13th. He would love to climb up the order and challenge the top sitters as he fires through the gears. Duane Mckeever straight onto that perfect outside line. Look at the angle dialed on as Mckeever absolutely flies through outside zone 1 in a 2 and out of 3 as he puts that car right to the edge of the circuit on the throttle nice and early, drives the car through 5. Mckeever's on an absolute flyer right now as he puts the car to the edge of the circuit. A little left foot brake, I haven't seen one there yet, as Mckeever fulfills all of outside zone 8, stands on the accelerator, looks for the final outside zone. Mckeever wants it more than anyone.
Back to
Kuba Przygonski, yeah, so we jump ahead to Kuba Przygonski, who's drove past Poytalaakso and looking ready to rock and roll. 10th place for Przygonski, 90.2 on the board, feeling good, says he loves the track. He loves everything. He's always happy, this man. There's always a smile on his face. Puts that car, though, right where it needs to be now. Will Przygonski climb himself higher up the order? This is very nice on outside zone 1. In a 2 and out of 3. Przygonski there just dabbing the foot brake, comes down the hill for 4. Can he light it off nice and early? Can. This is incredible. This is another guy who's going to be challenging for the top as Przygonski puts it deep onto 6 and 7. Flicks it across the track. Wide on outside zone 8 as Przygonski looks for that final zone. Deep into it goes Przygonski. The Polishman is absolutely flying.
The best.
Well, we go back on the line to Finnish royalty at this point. It's Juha Rintanen in the Toyota GR86 2JZ, 1,003 horsepower as Rintanen comes off the line. 30th place He definitely wants to move himself up the order. He won't want to be battling the top three, that's for sure, as he now sets himself a goal to climb into the 90s. But what can Rintanen do? We've seen this man do incredible stuff before. Look at the angle he dials on the throttle nice and early. Rintanen gets it as well. Rintanen's absolutely tuned into what this track needs to fulfill a perfect lead line as Rintanen gets into outside zone 8. This is textbook Juha Rintanen right now as the finishman fires it in to the final outside zone. Rintanen, job done and across the line. Around Jarko Jylha, down in 26th at the moment with an 83.7. So Jarko Jylha from Finland, Toyota Chaser JZX 100, 2JZ 900 horsepower, comes off the line, flicks that car where it needs to be. Big car to be firing around as well. As Jarko Jylha fulfills all of that first outside zone, deep on inside zone 2 as well. As he puts that car down wild, flicks up some dust, carrying a lot of speed. Will he miss in a 5? And he does, carrying a hell of a lot of speed as he comes down to outside zone 4. Now starts to pick himself back up again. He's outrun the drone. This is unbelievable from Jarko Jylha as he looks for the final outside zone, fulfills it, and across the line. On to this man, Mika Keski-Korpi. Well, he had 4th place in qualifying for quite a while after that good first qualifying run of a 91.7. Has now been pushed down the order slightly to 8. We'll see how he does in his second run. The young man from Finland, S58, 1007 horsepower, BMW F22, fires it in, big flick from left to right. I like the weight transfer there as he now dials himself in very deep on in a 2, and he starts to really turn up the heat as he fires that car to outside zone 4. A little dab of the foot brake. Look how early he is on throttle for 5. This is absolutely beautiful. This is again Mika Keski-Korpi back in Drift Masters, looking comfortable, looking confident, and this is phenomenal from the young Finnish driver. A man that we all said one day would be a name that we don't forget as he drags it across the line. And so is this man, Marko Zakouril, the young man from the Czech Republic, BMW F22 M2, Volkswagen 2-litre turbocharged engine underneath the bonnet, 700 horsepower for 2026, detuned slightly for a bit of reliability as he gets the weight transfer done. A dab of the handbrake now, fulfills outside zone 1 but drops wide, and a mistake creeps in to Marko Zakouril's second qualifying run. Looks like he was going for the big style, the flare run, and Zakouril kicks the clutch outside zone 6, very shallow on 7 once again. And the run now a little scrappy, but I think even Zakouril knows that this one won't be an improvement as he gets it across the line. Yeah. At the moment we go back on the line to Conor Falvey, an 85.7. Nissan Silvia S15 Team Drift Games on the door. 2JZ, 1050 horsepower as he builds the boost off the line. Conor Falvey, a man that I said had put a lot of pressure on his own shoulders for 2026.
Oh!
And again.
What?
Oliver Randalou right now, 29th position, 81 on the board. The drone's going to chase him down, and what can he do? Yeah, young man from Estonia fires the car in. Look at that, right to the edge of the circuit. Oh, yeah. Shallows up the angle, but then gets back into it. As Oliver Randalou absolutely fires through. This is so fast from Randalou. Stands on the throttle, picks up inner 5. This is beautiful from the young Estonian driver as he puts foot to floor, looks for 7, flicks it back once again. As Oliver Randalou out of outside zone 8 a little early, but he'll try and resurrect some points from outside zone 9 as he puts it deep into the zone and across the line. Go back on the line to a man that is looking very, very good. Lauri Heinonen, a 92 on the board. Gives the thumbs up, shakes his head, says I'm ready to go, slaps the car into gear. Lauri Heinonen, Finland, 180SX Dodge NASCAR V8 945 horsepower. What has he got? Puts the car to the edge of the circuit. Heinonen dialed in, look at that, absolutely locked on angle. As Lauri Heinonen fires it to outside zone 3, a little wobble, flicks that car, big angle down the hill. He's carrying a load of speed. Can he pull it off? How did he carry that? How did he do it? As Heinonen fires it across the circuit once again. Heinonen into outside zone 8 with a big clutch kick. Looks for the final outside zone. Lauri Heinonen, the champion. Can he redeem himself in 26? So as we go back on the line to Kevin Purser, an 88.7 down in 19th position. Nods his head and says I'm ready to go. Slams the car into gear. Full carbon fibre kit on this car. for 2026. As he clips the limiter coming off the line, flicks it across, dabs the handbrake, gets himself up. Oh, a little dab again on the foot brake. Kevin Basur a little unsure there in outside zone 1 now, starts to feel comfortable. Fires it in to outside zone 4, slams on the angle nice and early, gets on the throttle, picks up inner 5, as now Kevin Basur flicks the car to 7, looks good, steady, big angle dialed in for Kevin Basur as he looks for the final outside zone. The car looks so dialed right now as Kevin Basur gets it across the line. As we go back to the start line, it's going to be James Dean, a 93.5, down in 6th at the moment. Put on a show, throwing some big angle, put on a show for the fans.
I mean, he's done everything else.
Well, I mean,
so
he's got a 93.5, so he's 6th place. To top it, he's got to go more than a 95.5. Is he just going to go do or die? Is he going to throw in a run for the fans, a run for the highlight reel? We're going to about to find out, and this could be a highlight reel run for James Dean as he puts that Mustang to the edge of the circuit, a little left foot brake lock up as he comes through inner 2, down he comes, big angle fired on. Oh, James Dean almost backwards. That is absolutely phenomenal from James Dean as he now absolutely fires away from the drone, flicks the car into outside zone 8. Dean right to the edge of the circuit, flicks it across once again as he doesn't lift off the accelerator the whole run.
What a gift. Oh, 360 to end it. Not worth anything,
wow.
but oh, man.
We're back on the line with our Korpelinski, the surgeon, as we nicknamed him last year for his clinical lead lines and those surgical battles.
Yeah.
What do he do right now? Brand new build, the same car. 2JZ Nissan 200SX S14, 900 horsepower.
Ooh.
Nice flick, big handbrake drag though through the start of scoring. We know the judges not really liking that too much, but we'll see how he gets on as he starts to now collect the dots. A 90.7 at the moment, 11th place for Korpelinski. Much nicer though from 4 to 5 as Korpelinski opens up the throttle. This car looks so dialed, so easy and nice to drive as Korpelinski puts it right where it needs to be. It's predictable from Korpelinski and it's so clean. That technical line driving back once again for 2026 as Korpelinski gets it across the line.
Yeah.
On the line, Jack Shanahan, an 89.5, currently sits down in 18th position, but we know Jack Shanahan, historically, the second run is always the do or die. It's the show reel run, it's the highlight reel run. And here we go as he slams through the gears. Shanahan fires that car in, hardly any handbrake as he puts the car to the edge of the circuit. Jack Shanahan dials on the angle, looks for inner 2 and picks it up beautifully as Shanahan on an incredible lead line. But look at the angle thrown in outside zone 4. On throttle nice and early. Shanahan means this one more than ever. Smoke billows from the back of the 2JZ Toyota GT86 as Shanahan puts it to the edge of the circuit, fulfills all of outside zone 8. To the edge of the track, Shanahan fires full throttle into the final zone and across the line. And news coming from the paddock. A big upset already at round 1. Wiańczek won't take the second qualifying run. Engine problems for Piotr Wiańczek, so he stays locked in where he is right now. Wow, Wiańczek stays where he is locked in right now. We move it back to the line. It's going to be Conor Shanahan to round out qualifying here at round 1 of Drift Masters 2026 Rome. Flicks it across the track. Shanahan 16th. Where can he get? Where can he climb up the ladder? This is beautiful so far for outside zone 1 as Shanahan puts it across outside zone 3. Big flick, big absolute risk-reward moment for Shanahan as he now jumps onto the throttle for outside zone 6 and 7. It looks good as Shanahan looks to fulfill all of the zones. This is unbelievable from Shanahan. He goes for the final outside zone, foot flat to the floor and across the line. Your champion in fight